Chapter 4. David and Joshua were absolutely ecstatic when the police vehicle pulled up. Terry's heart dropped even further when he saw the little boys. He knew that their lives, and everyone's lives, were about to be changed with the news he was bringing. Watching the two toddlers, Terry's mind raced back to the few minutes before he had made the long drive to his auntie and uncle's home. It was all a blur. As he climbed the back stairs to his auntie's house, he could still hear Dale's whispered voice saying, "It's Tanisha." From that moment, those two words endlessly looped over and over in his mind. "Is she okay?" "It's not funny, Dale. Tell me she's okay," he had said. "I'm sorry, Terry," he whispered. "She's gone." "What?" "No," said Terry, the words crushing his chest as he forced them out with shock. "No," his mind echoed with the word as if he had screamed them, but in reality he had only mouthed it. "This can't be true. Who did this? Why, Tanisha? What about her little boys?" Terry jumped out of his truck and bolted toward the underbrush to where Dale had motioned. Dale yelled out, "Terry, wait! Stop!" As he approached the spot, fighting through the branches and willows that lined the banks of the beautiful river, he could see the white clothing. Then he saw the bloodstains. And then he saw her beaten and bloodied body. "No!" he shouted. Dale quickly came in behind him and grabbed Terry in a bear hug to keep him from going further. "I've contacted the RCMP and they want us to keep the area intact, Terry," said Dale. "They need a clean scene to start the investigation," he said as he struggled to keep Terry from proceeding further. As much as he wanted to hold his dear cousin in his arms at that moment, Terry knew that Dale was right. He stopped struggling and fell to his knees. Dale held him. Both men sobbed. The two boys stood by the police trucks watching the sad scene unfold. Sensing the need to leave, they picked up their fishing rods and began walking home. Terry got up and began walking toward his truck. Dale called out, "Terry, where are you going?" "Someone's got to tell my family, Dale. I'm not going to let a stranger do that. I'm going to my auntie's." "Okay," said Dale as he stood there watching Terry drive off, leaving him standing in a dust cloud. "I guess I'll stay here and secure the scene," thought Dale out loud as he realized he was now alone. As he pulled into his auntie's driveway, Terry's shattered heart dropped even further than he could have ever thought possible. He loved his auntie. He loved her husband. He loved every one of his cousins. They had all grown up together. They were all family. Over the years they had had spats and squabbles, but what family didn't? But through it all, they had remained a very close-knit family. In fact, Terrell and Tanisha were like siblings to him. What they had gone through together had created a family bond that was stronger than any other loyalties, including his passion for the police force. Under the unbearable grief, Terry had only one thing on his mind: find whoever did this and return to them 1,000,000 times over what they had done. And that thought only grew the moment he saw Tanisha's little boys playing in the driveway. Ever so carefully, Terry pulled the hulking cruiser into the dirt and gravel driveway. David and Joshua loved cars, and police vehicles were their favorites. They ran up to Terry's cruiser, imitating the sound of a police siren. In his tiny little hands, David held up the die-cast police car that he had been playing with, while Joshua squealed in delight right behind him. Terry couldn't hold back the tears any longer. He sat in the cruiser, trying hard to compose himself. Outside the cruiser, the two motherless boys ran circles around the cruiser, laughing and enjoying the real-life police car in front of them. Climbing out of the cruiser, the two little boys looked up at the big police officer in front of them and started asking 1,000 questions. Terry had no answer for any of them. He couldn't. The incredible lump in his throat and heaviness in his heart prevented him from mustering even a response for the two little boys. He climbed the steps to the door and knocked. What was he going to say? How would he tell his auntie? Anna opened the door. She had watched as Terry came to the door. She knew something was not right about this visit. There was anguish on Terry's face that she had not ever seen before. There was no way that she could have ever prepared herself to hear his words. She didn't believe what she had just heard. A sudden shock and pallor hit Anna. Her knees shook and buckled. She felt air leave her body, and the ability to breathe escaped her. She looked at Terry. His face had gone fuzzy, and everything around her was suddenly going dim. She heard herself ask, "What did you say?" Faintly, she heard him say, "Tanisha's gone, Auntie Anna. We found her body. She's dead." It took every ounce of strength left in her, but Anna Kettlefish's anguished cry hit Terry full force and almost knocked him to his knees. Instinctively, he reached out his arms to catch Anna. As he held his auntie in his arms, keeping her from completely collapsing on the floor, her crumpled body lay limp in his hands. Terry could do little to hold back his own flood of tears to match his aunt's. The sound of two little boys squealing with laughter while playing outside could be heard through the kitchen window. Their joyful screams had been cut short by the horrific scream of their beloved grandmother. Terry looked up. There stood Tyrone. "She's dead," whispered Terry. "She's dead. I'm sorry, Tyrone." Not even George Yellowbird's punch could compare to what Tyrone felt in that moment. His sister was dead. Joshua and David were now without a mother. Tyrone's own screams filled the house as he fell to the ground beside his mother and put his head on her shoulder. For what seemed like hours, there they sat.